G'day guys, thought I'd do a quick video for you on water supplies. So we're in lockdown, I'm sort of stuck at home, so be working on that. So yeah, we were talking about water supplies in the course. We're talking about domestic water supplies, so not the mains and where the water comes from as such. Hey Daniel, but the water supply from the Toby. So we've got our Toby there under that cover. It is a pretty old school one, so there's a little valve in there and that shuts off the water supply to the house. In this case I've got a galv water main running from the Toby into the building. Usually you get a little line on the curb. That one's pretty faded, but a little white line indicating where in the line of the water supply is. So I've got a galv water main going through underground into the house, and then from there it's actually been altered and changed over the years. It goes to polybutylene, and some of the old hot stuff is copper, so I'll try and get a thing of that a bit later on. So there's what a galv pipe looks like sticking out with my version of a hose tap stuck onto it. We've got to look at what those pipes look like and how we join them together. So I'm going to show you that in the garage. Your typical modern water main going into a house is going to be MDPE, which is this blue stuff. It's fairly thick and uses compression fittings, so they push on. I don't have any of those with me, but I'm going to show you the other pipes that we've got in the house and how to join them. Polybutylene, so that's what a lot of new stuff is for domestic houses. Crimp fittings, push on crimp fittings. This is the Dux brand, pretty easy to use. I think I've got another video already, sort of the inside of the fitting. Already got another video on how to join crimp fittings. So the other two pipes we've got copper pipe. Generally your domestic supply is going to come in 20mm and then reduce down to 15 for various outlets. So copper is usually brazed. You can do Crocs joints, so you can do brass Crocs joints with Crocs nuts. There's a brass tee that you can Crocs onto. I've also got another video on how to do a Crocs joint, so you need a Crocs tool. Pretty straightforward. Bit of hemp. Find a few other things, but there's a welded fitting, so it's like a socket for the pipe. You'll actually push over a 20mm pipe in this case, and you braze it up. Preferably with an oxyacetylene gas set, but because it's used less, a lot of people were using a MAP gas, something like this. Find it quite frustrating to use in comparison with a proper gas set. It's pretty slow and hard to get the heat sometimes around the top of the pipe, and it can go out as well when you don't want it to, so bit of a pain. Usually you're connecting onto fixtures via a threaded joint, like a wing back, so you'll have some brass thread come out of the wall that screws into that with a hemp joint that's welded, brazed onto the pipe, and you're good to go. In terms of galv pipe is pretty similar to this nipple, so that's pretty much, that is galv pipe, threaded. You can thread it with a threading machine, or there's hand threaders as well. You'll be doing this in the course. And then it's a thread joint. Typically thread tape, but you can use hemp if it's for water supply. If it's gas, you must use thread tape. So that's just a male-female threaded joint. Oops, get the light there. So one screws onto the other. Wide your thread tape on. It's actually a tapered joint as well. And then wind that on, and then you need to tighten it up with crescents to get it adequately tight to hold pressure. Water supply is typically going to be at about 500 kPa. Usually we use a limiting valve to stop it being higher than that. Some supplies will be lower, especially at the top of a hill. So you may only have 200 kPa coming in, which can be a problem and require bigger pipe sizes to compensate for it. Advantages of each system. Galv is very strong and rigid. Needs minimal clipping. But it corrodes. Lasts quite a long time. My house is like 1940, so it's like 80 years old, and it's still got the original water main, so it's lasted pretty well. So it's not that much of a problem. But so that's polybutylene, very flexible, easy to install, quick to install, crimp system, absorbs sound, doesn't tend to have too many freezing problems because it's flexible, can kind of cope with the water freezing to some degree without splitting. Copper, again, it's got quite a long lifespan, can pinhole over time, it can corrode to some degree, it doesn't rust but it can corrode, but tends to last probably longer than steel. Much slower to install, more rigid, can give you sound transmission, called water hammer, if it's not installed properly, not secured adequately. Alright, so we're actually back. This is actually a different house, but access is a lot better, so I'll give you a bit of a look at the running of the water pipe. So the water main in this place comes in. Look down the back there. So it comes in underground, like at my place. Comes up. Might be Alkathene or HDPE, pretty old school pipe coming in there. This one's copper. It's got a few bits of polybutylene where things that had to change from time to time. Runs along the building. That other copper pipe's gas. Manual heater, so copper can be used for gas. There's another gas pipe that's PEX, Rifling brand, but it's composite pipe. HDPE, aluminium HDPE bonded together with special glue. But our water main goes along there. Oops. Put an extra isolation valve and a strainer in. Runs in under the house, you can see some of the brazing, and then runs off to the bathroom, laundry, various stuff under there, right under there. You can see the waste pipe, see the toilet under there. My phone's blocking some of that out. So you've got a mix of polybutylene, loosely strapped. Oh, there's some old school stuff I should really get rid of. Burst at some stage. That's Duck's Quest, that black pipe, prone to bursting, so still looks alright at this point, but it won't last forever. There's the old hot copper line going through there, some old school felt lagging on it. Get down a bit further. Pipe work pretty rugged, which a lot of domestic stuff is. There's a crux joint up there. That's where joined under some polybutylene later on, haven't braced it. Crux is easy. It's accessible here, so if it did leak it wouldn't be a major. Don't really like to put crux joints in the walls if it can be avoided. So that's actually so they haven't used a T fitting. It's back in the day, but older. I've pulled that T manually, which you might get to do. A few cobwebs. It's like under a house, bit of a mess. It's got pretty good access here. It's pretty high, so it's pretty easy to get under there. Better than a lot of places where you've got to crawl on your guts. Alright, well that's about it for that one. I'll try and mash some of this together and give you a video.